Well, good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to our first meeting of 2022. I'd like to call the January 4th meeting to order. If I can go ahead and we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance from the Paramount High School Corsairs, and our invocation will be done by Pastor Ken Corver from Emmanuel Church. So Corsairs, come on up.
Hi, I'm Melanie. I'm Andrea, and we're from Corsairs. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We could pray together. Lord, we thank you so much for the city that we love. We thank you for how the city has risen to become a shining light. We thank you for a safe place and a beautiful and a wholesome place to live. We give you thanks for our council and our staff and our police and our fire folks. We thank you for our businesses and our residents and our civic groups and our churches. We thank you for how so often there's been unity and working together to beautify and bless everyone. It says in your word that we don't have because we don't ask, so we're to ask for things. So we ask for wisdom for our council tonight. Would you make them very wise? We pray for unity. We pray that we be servants. You came and you were the foot washer. So we pray that we be servants, that we'd love our neighbor. We pray, Lord, you give us new dreams and visions. We pray this city could just keep rising, that you get all the glory. So your kingdom come and your will be done right here in Paramount as in heaven. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
God bless you all.
Thank you, Pastor Corver. You always make my days. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to our roll call of council members, please.
Councilmember Aguayo.
Here.
Councilmember Guillen. Councilmember Lemons.
Here.
Vice Mayor Cuellar Stallings.
Here.
Mayor Olmos.
I am here. Can I get a motion to excuse Councilmember Guillen, please?
So moved, Lemons. Second.
So I have a motion by Lemons and a second by Cuellar Stallings. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo.
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cuellar Stallings.
Yes.
Mayor Olmos.
Yes. John, I also understand that we have a subsequent need item that needs to be added to the agenda tonight.
Yes, Madam Mayor, if you don't mind real quick, I'll give a brief intro for it so that the council can vote to possibly add this item. This subject matter came up after the agenda was published and before tonight's meeting. It involves a precautionary measure that we'd like for the city council to consider as a result of the recent surge in COVID cases, not only locally but nationwide. This precautionary measure would provide greater flexibility to the city council when it comes to participation in future council meetings. So as a reminder, we would need a unanimous 4-0 vote in order to add this item to tonight's agenda. And if the council would like to add this to tonight's agenda, we would ask that you place it under new business under the first item before item number 6.
Thank you, John. Okay, you guys, I will go ahead and entertain a motion to add this item under new business right before number 6.
Madam Mayor, I move resolution number 22002 be placed on the agenda under new business item 1.
All right, so we have a motion by Lemons and a second by Cuellar Stallings. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cuellar Stallings.
Yes.
Mayor Olmos.
Yes. All right, we'll move on now to our presentations. If my colleagues will join me down at the podium for some presentations this evening. Good evening, everyone, and as I mentioned earlier, Happy New Year. Thank you guys for coming out and being safe with your mask. We really appreciate you guys actually coming out to our council meeting tonight. But tonight we're going to be recognizing some of our great community members. To start off, would Melanie Cabrera and Andrea Perez join us of the Corsairs and their advisor, Lourdes Aguayo, please join us up here. When we thank one, we thank them all. So all come up. So I want to thank you, ladies, for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. For those who don't know, the Corsairs are a longtime service club from Paramount High School. Part of their service is really helping out at the city events. I know they help out with the senior Thanksgiving and the volunteers at our Veterans Celebration. They are a dedicated group of young people, and we thank them from the bottom of our hearts for being such an important part of Paramount. So before we take a photo, would you guys like to say a few words and kind of elaborate on what you guys do? All but one. All of you guys.
Of course, they leave me to do the talking. So, like Mayor almost said, Corsairs has been the longest standing club of Paramount High School. It started in 1953 when it first opened its doors. It was led by Mary Lash, and I'm just happy that we continue to not only honor the community service that we do to the community, but also her legacy and what she's built. And I know Isabel Aguayo is also a Corsair, and I'm sure there's other people here that have all been honored to be part of Corsairs.
Next, would Michelle Aparicio, Angel Carmano, and Sonia Perez Corona, and Maria Enciso please come up? So tonight, I'm pleased to present this month's Mayor's Award of Excellence. Come on this side, you guys, so that way. TV's beloved Mr. Rogers once said, "Anyone who does anything to help a child in his life is a hero to me." An unknown individual made this observation, and it takes a big heart to help shape little minds. In line with these thoughts, tonight we are honoring our teachers of the Paramount Unified School District who are so influential in the lives of our children here in Paramount. The City of Paramount and the Paramount Unified School District has had an extremely close working relationship and shared a sense of purpose for many years. As part of that alliance, we feel that the district's teachers are partners with us. The great work they have done is very, very much appreciated, and I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of everybody that's in this room tonight. Our educational standards have improved dramatically at every level over the last 20 years. Graduation rates have increased, test scores have advanced, and many of our campuses have gained state and national recognition. And the number of students going on to college has grown substantially. So the more we get to USC, the more better, right, Bruins up here? Yeah. The Board of Education and the district staff are, of course, major contributions to these successes. But it's our teachers who are always on the front line, and even so are in the age of COVID. Horace Mann, who is the leading advocate for the public education in the 19th century, said, "Teachers teach because they care. Teaching young people is what they do best. It requires long hours, patience, and care." Joining us on behalf of the district's caring teachers are Michelle, Angel, Sonia, and Maria, who happen to be Paramount residents. We are presenting them with the award, which will hopefully be displayed in the district office. Thank you so much for all you guys do. Please give them a round of applause. Would you guys like to say something on behalf of the teachers from Paramount? You just say thank you.
On behalf of all the teachers, thank you very much.
So next, would Kai Letcher and Josh Johnson please come up? So now it is my honor to actually give this award tonight to our local football champions from the city of Paramount. I know you guys want to cheer, but let me just say. The Paramount West Coast Rebels are part of the California Youth Football Association. They have a number of different teams by age group, and 4 of them were division winners this season. It was our 7U, I said R, 7U, 9U, 13U, and Flag. 2 of the teams went even further. 13U and Flag became Super Bowl champs. The 13U team will be heading to the national championship in Vegas to play against teams from all over the United States. Kai and Josh are the co-captains. So Paramount will proudly be represented on the big stage. We applaud their success and celebrate their teamwork and their parents and coaches. So before I hand over this certificate, I have to say I went to the Super Bowl, and it was in the Inland Empire. And I just have to say, all the parents that were there from Paramount, it was so Paramount proud that day. I mean, there were signs everywhere. I felt like we took over the stadium. So again, you guys, congratulations. Great job. You guys are an awesome team. And you guys want to say something? Come on. All right, there we go. We have a winner.
I just want to thank Rebels for the opportunity I've been given. We ended up winning all of it, the Super Bowl, and it was a great year. It was a team effort to win, and we all worked hard to achieve what we've gotten. And thank you, City Council, for supporting the Rebels, and I hope you continue supporting youth football.
So would Nancy, I want to make sure I get this right, Pfeiffer please join us? Paramount is proud of its eco-friendly efforts. For nearly 3 decades, we have taken huge strides to save energy and help the environment. Our actions have recognized by a variety of organizations. We have won Los Angeles County's Green Leadership Award. The National Arbor Day Foundation has named us Tree City USA, and the League of California Cities has given us its Beacon Award numerous times. We are one of the only 10 cities in the state and the only one in LA area to be invited to join the Institute for Local Government Boost program to create a framework for sustainable community planning. The South Coast Air Quality Management District presented us with the Model Community Achievement Award for dealing with air quality issues. And now, our latest recognition has come from the Gateway Cities Council of Governments with their Energy Action Award. This award is intended to acknowledge cities in the region who are leaders in energy efficiency and sustainability. Of the 27 Gateway cities, Paramount is one of the only 3 to reach the top gold level. Among our recognized achievements are the completion of a climate action plan to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and our efforts to increase the use of electric vehicles throughout the community. I am very proud that our city has been taking the necessary steps to protect the environment and ensure that Paramount remains safe, healthy, and attractive. Nancy is the Executive Director of the Gateway Cities COG and will present this award. Nancy, would you like to say a few words?
I won't say a lot because the mayor has covered a lot of what I was going to mention, but I will say how pleased I am to be here to congratulate the City of Paramount for winning this Gold Energy Action Award from the Gateway Cities COG. These awards were developed through the Gateway Cities COG Energy Working Group, which was convened to help cities become more energy efficient, more sustainable, and save money. And you will see that right here on the award. We had our first Energy Action Awards hosted by the COG in December. And as the mayor mentioned, Paramount was one of only 3 cities in our region that won a gold level award for overall efforts. We have a brief video, I believe, that will tell you a little bit more about the awards. And then I can finish by handing you this beautiful award.
The Gateway Cities Energy Action Awards recognizes cities for their actions to improve energy efficiency and sustainability, and we hope they also help motivate progress through some friendly competition. Congrats to our 2021 Bronze Tier winners. And congratulations to our 2021 Silver Tier winners. And introducing our 2021 Gold Tier public agencies. City of Long Beach. Long Beach is committed to expanding EV charging options equitably across all communities with 600 new Level 2 ports in order to empower residents to make the switch to electric. City of Linwood. The Lucy Avalos Community Center is a shining example of Linwood's commitment to energy efficiency and sustainability, a $5 million LEED Gold certified facility. City of Paramount. Paramount has begun the process to upgrade to electric vehicles in planning, public works, public safety, community services, and administrative services.
I am so proud of all the Gateway cities making strides to become more energy efficient and more sustainable by participating in the COG's Energy Working Group. Congratulations to all the cities that have reached the bronze and silver levels this year. And I especially want to congratulate our 3 gold level cities, Paramount, Linwood, and Long Beach, who reached the highest level of energy efficiency and sustainability and are also climate leaders. Congratulations and thank you for your dedication to energy action.
I would love to present this beautiful plaque to you, Mayor Olmos, and all of your colleagues on the council. Yes, it's a really lovely award, and you have earned it, and thank you very much for those efforts. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Okay. I'll leave this back here.
So that's the end of tonight's presentations, and just thank you to everyone for being here and and everybody for making our community so great. From football to the Corsairs, just the residents that are here tonight. Thank you for being part of our family, and our commissioner. Hello. Thank you, guys. We'll go to regular meeting now. right, so we will move on now to city council public comment updates.
We have no updates from the last meeting, Madam Mayor.
All right, then we'll move on to public comments.
Yes, Madam Mayor, we do have one public comment tonight. It's an in-person one, and it's from Mr. Alejandro Yanez. And Mr. Yanez would like to discuss 2021 year in review. Mr. Yanez?
Oh.
Oh, that's just the remote control for the, yeah.
The way the council moves on, specifically Parks and Recreation and our community director, but I'm not here for that right now. In my statement, it was a year in review for 2021, and the things I wanted to review was, first of all, I wanted to touch on the note that the lady just passed on. I think that was a great job of adding the street lights and the LED lights to our city. For somebody that works in electronics and the electrical field, that was good. It saves and conserves energy. Good move by whoever brought that idea up. I'd also like to congratulate any of the youth sports, the soccer kids that won a championship representing our city in 2021. I myself used to play a lot of sports here until they removed our handball courts. Now we don't have nothing else to play. But I congratulate those youths continuing on with their activities. Also like to congratulate all the people who've made it past the sickness, and whether it be COVID or any other type of sickness that's related to your health, I'm glad to still see you around and participating in life. That's what we're all after enjoying it. In 20 meetings in the council had last year, we should have had 24, but we only had 20, 4 of which were canceled for whatever reason. Only 10 residents show up to these meetings, only 10. I showed up to the majority of those meetings, and for the last 12 years, I've been coming to this council requesting our handball courts because we have no recreational handball participation for adults 18 to 60. And my question to council, although we're not going to a Q&A, is if you're gonna represent our council, our city, why do you choose to ignore once you get to this position? If you're running to be a leader, be a leader. If what I come after you and I tell you this person's been discriminating against us for years, last August I came to you specifically, Mayor, and I said in August that his assistant came to me at the Heritage Festival and told me that I'd never get handball courts because of somebody catcalled her, and somebody else had nothing drug dealing. It had nothing to do with me. I'm glad, Mayor, that you've now joined my family. You know, you've talked to my brother, you've joined my friends. Did anybody ever tell you that I was a drug dealer or a gang member? I'm sure they haven't. And I'm glad that you've gotten around to our family. You've gotten to know who it is, where I was brought up when. I've brought up in this city. I'm part of this community. You choose to ignore us, and that's the frustration that comes in with anybody who gets discriminated. You get discriminated against, you're ignored, and you're felt like you're not part of the community. Well, I'm going to continue on with my fight because what you did in fact was discriminate against us. You still, 12 years, you have yet to address our issues. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Yanez, for your comments, and Happy New Year to you too. All right, colleagues, we're going to go ahead and move on to consent calendar. If I can go ahead and get a motion and a second, please.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Cuellar Stallings and a second by Lemons. Can I get a roll call, please?
I'm sorry.
Was it Aguayo?
Yes.
Second by Aguayo. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cuellar Stallings,
Yes.
Mayor Olmos.
Yes. All right, we're going to move on to our subsequent need item, which is resolution number 22002.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Our city clerk, Ms. Heidi Luce, will handle this item. Heidi?
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. The subsequent need item before you this evening is a resolution that would allow the City Council to resume teleconference or Zoom meetings without having to satisfy the strict Brown Act requirements for remote meetings should our local area see continued spike in the COVID-19 cases as a result of the Delta and Omicron variants. As you probably recall, At the beginning of the pandemic, in March of 2020, the governor issued an executive order suspending certain Brown Act requirements and allowing cities to conduct remote meetings as a means of protecting public health. On and off, between April of 2020 and earlier this year, we held remote meetings under that executive order. As COVID-19 cases declined and the state and county health departments loosened restrictions, the city resumed in-person meetings with proper health and safety protocols in place. The governor's executive order allowing for remote meetings expired on September 30th, but to provide cities the flexibility to continue to hold remote meetings if necessary, the governor signed Assembly Bill 361 into law. AB 361 allows cities to individually assess the situation in their area and hold remote meetings if necessary under similar provisions as the original executive order. The resolution before you this evening makes the necessary findings and gives the city the option to transition to remote meetings if necessary. If adopted, the resolution would be in effect for 30 days. At the conclusion of the 30-day period, the resolution would sunset. However, it could be extended by further action of the City Council. Staff will continue to monitor the numbers, and if we continue to see the numbers increase, we will bring the item back to you for an extension at the February 1st City Council meeting. With that, it is recommended that the City Council read by title only and adopt Resolution 22002, declaring a state of emergency and authorizing the use of remote teleconferencing provisions pursuant to Government Code Section 54953. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions for Heidi?
I'll move the item, Lemons.
Second, Aguayo.
All right, we have a motion by Lemons and a second by Aguayo. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo?
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cuellar Stallings?
Yes.
Mayor Olmos?
Yes. Thank you, Heidi, for that.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 6, which is an approval for volunteering as Paramount VIP Student Recognition Program.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. It's been established long ago that active volunteerism is one of the key ingredients to a successful community. There's no doubt about that. And in Paramount, that's always been the case. We do have active volunteers from service clubs to churches to students. We oftentimes count on volunteerism from these different parts of our city to assist us with building a safe, healthy, and attractive community. And it's our job to develop and motivate a high level of volunteerism among these groups. So tonight, we want to focus on how to develop and motivate volunteerism among our student population at the high school. So we have a plan, and it's called, as you just said, Volunteering is Paramount, or the VIP program. With that, I'll turn it over to our Community Services Director, Mr. David Johnson, who will tell you more about the program. David?
Thank you, John. Mayor and council members. So as background to this, as John mentioned, we do have various volunteer programs. We do rely on volunteers to run our programs. And so for our youth, this is an important tool for them. It's not just, about, opportunities to hang out with their friends. They do use these things as for college admissions. They do use it as on-site job training. It's for their own personal growth and certainly the benefit of their community. So we currently do have a top 5 Paramount High School graduating senior student recognition program. So they do get a banner, they do get recognized, and their banners go here in the Civic Center Plaza. What we don't have broadly is a program to recognize those students who do volunteer for a variety of things within our community. So that's why we're bringing to you tonight a proposed program called Volunteering is Paramount, and that would be city recognition for those volunteering efforts. So it is aimed at our high school students who want to make a difference by volunteering in their community, and there's a lot of students that do that. They must reside in the city of Paramount or attend a Paramount Unified School District high school. And this would include the Paramount High School West Campus, so they can start this as early as 9th grade. To qualify and receive a Volunteering is Paramount or a VIP certificate of recognition, they must go through our program. They must volunteer in a pre-approved organization. So what they would do is tell us where they want to do their volunteer hours, and then we would check with that organization to make sure that it's okay. They cannot, obviously as volunteers, you cannot be compensated, and you also cannot do volunteer work for a family business. Paramount High School events and activities they do on campus are also excluded. What is obviously not excluded is when they do events for our events or do volunteering for our events. They will have to complete some kind of a pre-approval form that we'll develop to make sure that they have parent okay on this, acknowledgement that the parent know that they're working on this. They'll use our tracking form so we can keep track of their hours, and then they must serve a minimum of 50 hours to qualify. So what they'll get at the end of each year is a VIP certificate, which will be signed by the mayor and will be mailed to all the qualified volunteers. Their names will be highlighted in our various social media, and we'll publish it in our city website, around town, Pulse Speed, and we'll do this around June, which we generally recognize as our Education Month. And we are recommending approval or modification of this proposed VIP program. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
You know, Dave, I don't have any questions, but I do have a comment, and this is kind of where it goes back to how like incredible our staff is. This was a conversation that happened maybe a year ago, and correct me if I'm wrong, there was a resident that had a child that was trying to apply to college. And I think they were looking for those opportunities of how to put that on their resume. And she had a conversation with Dave Johnson, and you made this happen. That's what I'm talking about. That's just what I'm saying when, you know, we're listening to the residents, putting a program together and putting it executing. So thank you for that. Again, I don't have any questions. I just had that comment, but I'll take any comments or questions from staff.
I have a couple questions, Madam Mayor, if it's okay. The program is still in existence right now, isn't it, where we give an award to the most volunteer hours by a student?
Yes, so we do the top 5 volunteers that are graduating from Paramount High School. Those students, you know, have upwards of 400, 700 hours. Those hours can be accumulated in different locations. They do get a lot of them actually doing them at Paramount High School. This program would identify all those kids, you know, that also get volunteer hours but don't reach that top 5 status.
And I remember for a while their volunteering was real high, but it was a school requirement
Right.
for a couple of years, right? And then the school had to do away with it, I think.
The school no longer requires it. That does not stop our students from volunteering anyway. So again, you'll see tons of student volunteers at our events, at cleanup days, and a whole variety of activities. But there's also kids that volunteer in other capacities for nonprofits and private organizations that we'd like to recognize as well.
And the certificate that we would issue them after, I think it was 50 hours of volunteerism, is that the type of paperwork recognition that would be suitable for the college application? Is that, you know,
Yeah,
are we headed in the right direction?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Okay. Thank you, Madam.
No, great questions. Thank you. Any other questions? No? If not, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion.
Move gladly. Lemons.
So we have a motion by Lemons and a second by Quayre Stallings. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo?
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Quayre Stallings?
Yes.
Mayor Olmos?
Yes. All right, we're moving on to item number 7, which is resolution number 22001, adopting the 2022 legislative platform.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is something that we started last year. It involves our ability to quickly take a position of either support or oppose on state, federal legislation that comes our way. It's called what we call our legislative platform, and it essentially lays out the City Council's priorities for the upcoming calendar year. So, for instance, if there are any bills that pop up throughout the year that impact your priorities, we can quickly generate a letter, get it to the mayor for her approval, either supporting or opposing the proposed legislation, and get it up to our representatives either in Sacramento or Washington, D.C. So with that, I'll turn it over to our senior management analyst, Mr. Anthony Martinez, to explain more to you about this and tell you about some changes that we have planned for the platform for 2022. Anthony?
Is this on? Yeah, there it goes. Good evening. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council member. Before I continue on with my presentation, allow me to say Happy New Year.
Thank you.
So, alrighty. Since January 2021, the city's legislative platform has served as a key reference point for the city when taking a position on legislative issues that affect the city. Its framework is based on the city's vision, mission, values, and strategic outcomes that has been established by the City Council. The legislative platform process establishes a streamlined method that allows the City Council to take supportive or opposition positions on legislative matters that reflect the guiding principles and protects the city's interests at all levels. Each year, At the start of the legislative session, the City Council reviews and adopts a legislative platform that enables Paramount's voice to be heard before a vote is taken in Sacramento or DC. The first step in the legislative process starts here. The first step in the legislative platform process starts here with an annual City Council discussion on the legislative platform. Once the consensus is achieved, the City Council adopts by resolution its annual legislative platform. When staff or the City Council receives information or requests to take positions on legislative issues that are of interest, staff uses the legislative platform to confirm that the issues align with the goals and objectives of the city. From there, staff drafts a letter that is reviewed and signed by the mayor, followed by copies to the City Council. For 2021, the city's legislative platform served as the foundation that helps staff in expediting positions on legislation, especially those that were time sensitive. In June, the City Council reviewed and amended the legislative platform to include focus points under its areas of focus. Last year, staff referred to the legislative platform to take 19 positions in support or opposition of legislative initiatives. Such key topics included SB 4, the Broadband Act, which supported a greater reach of broadband networks throughout California. SB 9, the Housing Bill, which is of great concern to the City Council given our landlocked situation around town. And SB 619, Organic Waste, which will affect several households and businesses statewide. Our guiding principles continue to strengthen the legislative platform by focusing to preserve local control, promote fiscal stability, promote economic development, and seek funding opportunities. This year's areas of focus remain the same, with the exception of 2 proposed areas of focus, which I'll later explain in a couple of slides. The areas of focus for this year are Parks and Recreation, Public Works, Broadband Infrastructure Development, Solid Waste, Water, Public Safety, Homeless Outreach and Prevention, Finance, HR, Environmental Sustainability, Economic Development, Housing, and Regional Governance. This year's legislative platform annual review, staff consulted with city departments and the League of California Cities, CalCities, to ensure that the legislative priorities are relevant with today's legislative climate. Staff reviewed the adopted CalCities 2020 action agenda and determined that the League's priorities do align with the city's priorities, goals, and objectives. In last year's legislative platform, staff included broadband infrastructure and homeless prevention as focal points under the Public Works and Public Safety areas of focus. However, as these emerging issues continue to affect the city, staff recommends incorporating broadband infrastructure development and homeless outreach prevention as separate areas of focus as an additional reference tool when taking formal positions on legislation involving these important issues. As broadband networks continue to grow in California, so do the benefits of connecting residents and businesses with a reliable network. Despite our social and economic efforts to bring in the city, Paramount remains underserved in its broadband infrastructure, also known as the digital divide. In fact, quite recently, the state selected Paramount as 4 cities in the county to receive direct funding to expand its broadband infrastructure in the city. Broadband networks provide students, teachers, those with disability access with a plethora of essential online resources such as educational, medical, and financial resources. It also improves the profitability of large, small, and home-based Paramount businesses to grow and compete in the market. Supporting legislation that expands broadband infrastructure in the city equips Paramount with more affordable and efficient online access. The fight to end homelessness in our nation has become an emerging goal, which has actually taken center stage for many cities throughout California. In Paramount, Our ongoing efforts to help those experiencing homelessness get off the streets and into Paramount housing has become a daily mission led by our public safety team. Supporting legislation and funding opportunities to combat homelessness further memorializes the city's commitment in ending homelessness. So, moving forward, the next steps include a City Council review and adoption of the 2022 legislative platform by resolution. After adoption, staff will work with the mayor to draft position letters of support or opposition on legislation that meets the city's legislative priorities. And further down the road in December, staff will prepare the 2023 legislative platform to ensure that the city's legislative priorities remain relevant with today's legislative climate while capturing the collective input of the City Council. The city's vision, mission, and values sets a standard for our organization, and this item before you aligns with all strategic outcomes. It is recommended that the City Council read by title only and adopt Resolution 22:001, approving the City of Paramount's 2022 legislative platform. And at this point, staff and I will be more than happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? No. I think you said there was 19. We did 19 legislative, either oppositions or support this year, right? In 2021, right?
I'll move the item, Madam Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Lemons. Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
All right. So we have a motion by Lemons and a second by Aguayo. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo?
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Quer Stallings?
Yes.
Mayor Olmos?
Yes. Thank you, Anthony, for that. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Next, we're moving on to an oral report for the 2020 U.S. Census Data Release Update.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. As we all know, the U.S. Census was supposed to be taken in 2020, and it somewhat was, but then it was delayed, and then they extended it to spring of 2021. Since there was all that delay in collecting the data, there was also a delay in putting out the information by the U.S. Census Bureau. In fact, not all of the detailed information is available to us at this time. However, we do have some of the raw data on our population and ethnicity that was used to conduct the recent redistricting for the state and federal legislative districts. We understand that more census data will be released later this year, and we'll provide you that once we can get our hands on that. So with that, I'll turn it back over to our senior management analyst, Anthony Martinez, who will walk you through this item. Anthony?
All right. Thank you once again, John. Thank you. Well, I'm back. The Census Bureau is our largest data agency dedicated to providing facts and figures providing facts and figures about the country's people, places, and its economy. Since 1790, under Jackson, the U.S. Census has taken population counts every 10 years as dictated and required by our U.S. Constitution. The Census Bureau has several statistical programs outside of population counts. Each year, it releases census, surveys, and estimates on various topics, all relating to the profile of our nation. This evening, I'll discuss the two primary census that directly affect the city: the decennial census, otherwise known as redistricting data, and the American Community Survey. Every 10 years, the Census Bureau releases redistricting data to all 50 states, including DC and Puerto Rico, for its redistricting process. This redistricting data includes counts on population, race, voting age, and housing units, all of which serve as measurements for states to draw or redraw their congressional and state districts. Last year, the U.S. Census released its redistricting data 2020 in August. For the 2020 population count for Paramount, we see a slight 1% decrease for an approximate drop in about 365 residents. The next couple of slides will have a series of figures, and I'll go momentarily through each slide. For the race populations in Paramount, we see a 3% increase in the Hispanic population, a 25% decrease in the Caucasian population, a 17% decrease in the African American population, and a 11% increase in the Asian population. For voting age counts in Paramount, not including actual registered voters, we see a 15% increase in the Hispanic population, a 20% decrease in the Caucasian population, an 11%, an 11% decrease in the African American population, and a 12% increase in the Asian population. In total, the voting age group accounts for 74% of the city's total population. So in other words, 3/4 of Paramount is of voting age. For the housing unit count in Paramount, we see a 5% increase in the occupied housing units and a 49% decrease in vacancy units, which is pretty consistent given today's housing situation in California. Unlike the 10-year census count for redistricting data, the American Community Survey is a yearly survey that provides detailed information about the nation and its people. For the ACS, the U.S. Census Bureau randomly samples addresses every year from all 50 states, including D.C. and Puerto Rico. Through the American Community Survey, we know more about jobs, occupation, educational attainment, veteran status, whether folks are renting or owning, and other important topics. The ACS helps determine how more than $600 million in state and federal funds are distributed each year. This helps states, counties, communities decide where to target services and resources. The survey helps local officials, community leaders, and business professionals understand the changes that are going and taking place in their community. The survey includes population and age, income and poverty levels, education attainment, employment rate, housing, health profile, business economy, family household numbers, and race. As a whole, the ACS plays a vital role in helping elected officials, planners, and entrepreneurs assess the past, but more importantly, plan for the future. Tangibly, it also helps and allocates resources such as constructing hospitals and schools, improving emergency services, adding jobs, or even moving into new business markets. Like many aspects affected by COVID, the pandemic delayed the 2020 ACS data. However, the Census Bureau plans to release this data this year in March. For now, we have the 2019 ACS data available online. In March, we expect to see the 2020 ACS data for the categories listed here. In 2020, staff embarked on an extensive census outreach campaign to get Paramount residents involved in the 2020 census count. And even despite of the ongoing pandemic, staff continued on ensuring that Paramount residents were well educated on the importance in census participation. For print media, we advertised census efforts in Around Town, Pulse Beat, and the Paramount Journal. On our social media front, we delivered and posted several messages on Instagram and Facebook. We even displayed 4 billboard announcements. Here's one of the announcements at the intersection of Downey and Alondra for residents traveling north on Downey. We also posted a street banner at the intersection of Paramount and Alondra, and I'm pretty sure most will recall, we also had the car magnets on all our city vehicles. We also deployed electronic message boards across all our major streets and posted signs and posters throughout the parks. To kick off further efforts, we sponsored weekly caravan events, raffle giveaways, door hangers. We even put water bill inserts and mass messaging via email blasts and robocalls. The city's vision, mission, and value statement sets a standard for organization, and this item before you aligns with strategic outcome number 3, economic health. This concludes today's presentation on the census, and staff and I will be more than happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Thank you, Anthony. Great presentation. There's, I'm not going to make you go back because I'm not sure if the slide's working or not, but you said there's new criteria coming because I noticed they were asking about household, education. Are those going to be the new questions? Is that what I understood you say?
I see. Yeah.
Okay.
For the American Community Survey, yes, for the American Community Survey, no, they're the existing categories.
Okay.
What you see here was the categories for the ACS.
Okay.
That, as mentioned, is randomly sampled to different addresses, as opposed to the redistricting data that goes to every single house.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. Do you have any questions for Anthony?
Nope. Very good. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you very much,
Okay.
Councilmember.
That was an oral report. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
All right, you guys, we're going to move on to the agenda to environmental sustainability, our new business. We have an introduction for Ordinance 1158, which is establishing water conservation and a water supply program and regulations.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. With all of the rainfall that pounded us this holiday season, you would think that the drought is over, but it's not. We still are in drought territory. So we need to remain vigilant and responsible, obviously, when it comes to managing the demand for drinking water by our residents and our businesses. One of the ways to remain vigilant and responsible is to adopt a water reduction strategy that meets state law. And this is what is before you tonight. So with that, I'll turn it over to our Public Works Director, Ms. Adriana Figueroa, who will handle the item. Adriana?
Thank you, John. Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, as you know, and as John has indicated, California has been experiencing more frequent drought conditions in recent years. The city has adopted multiple drought-related resolutions in an ordinance in the past in order to comply with state mandates. Water agencies are required to prepare an urban water management plan, also known as a UWMP, every 5 years. One of the required chapters of this UWMP is the Water Shortage Contingency Plan, which analyzes water supply and water demand projections. It also includes measures that can be taken to conserve water and, if necessary, implement reduction measures citywide. Our most recent urban water management plan, which is the 2020 plan, expanded the water shortage contingency plan stages from 3 to 6 as required by the state. Each stage outlines actions or policies in order to minimize impacts of water shortages and to allow us to prepare for these conditions. This requires an update to our municipal code, specifically our water conservation section found in Title 13, Article 5. Once this is updated, the activation of each stage will require council approval and, of course, messaging to our community. Stage 1 will require a 10% reduction in water consumption citywide. It will limit watering of landscape areas to 3 days per week for the months of April through October and 2 days per week for the months of November to March. Customers will be required to fix repairs in a timely manner, and that is described as within 72 hours of notification. Stage 1 will also prohibit excessive water flow or runoff, and it will also prohibit washing down of paved surfaces. Stage 2 will require a 20% reduction in water consumption. It will also carry with it all restrictions outlined in Stage 1. Additionally, water use for decorative water features will be restricted or prohibited. Only recycled water will be allowed to be used for construction activities. Restaurants will have limitations on water served, which will be done only upon request, and limits will be placed on the washing of vehicles. Stage 3 will require a 30% reduction in water consumption. It will also carry with it all restrictions outlined in stages 1 through 2. Additionally, there will be increased limits on water days for landscape areas. Watering will be limited to 2 days per week between April and October, and only 1 day per week between November and March. Water customers will be required to fix leaks in a timely manner, and that will be within 48 hours. And there will be no filling or refilling of decorative fountains. Stage 4 will require a 40% reduction in water consumption, and it will also carry with it all restrictions outlined in stages 1 through 3. Additionally, residential car washing will be prohibited. There will be no filling or refilling of pools or spas. The planting of new grass will be prohibited, as well as outdoor evaporative mist coolers. And water main lines will only be flushed for emergency situations. Stage 5 will require a 50% reduction in water consumption, and again, it will also carry with it all the restrictions outlined in stages 1 through 4. Additionally, no watering of landscape areas will be allowed, and customers will be required to fix any leaks within 24 hours of notification. Stage 6 will require over 50% reduction in water consumption. It will also carry with it, once again, all restrictions outlined in stages 1 through 5. And this stage will include any other additional prohibitive uses as determined by the City Council. As you know, the governor recently signed N10-21, which declared a state of emergency in 50 counties statewide. Los Angeles County was not included. However, voluntary measures are always encouraged. The item before you today simply updates our water conservation ordinance that will allow us to comply with the state whenever mandatory measures are established. We are not currently recommending the implementation of any of these stages, but we would like to begin an educational campaign that would encourage water conservation and promote existing programs from regional agencies. This, of course, also aligns with Strategy WA1, promoting water conservation, found in our recently adopted Climate Action Plan. And with that, it is recommended that the City Council read by title only, waive further reading, introduce ordinance number 1158, and place it on the next regular agenda for adoption. That concludes my presentation, but I'll be happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Thank you, Adriana. I do have one question. I mean, you probably don't know this right now, but how would you do an educational component on this? Because, I mean, when you read this through, it seemed very...
Yes, thank you for that question. So we've done this before. This
Okay.
isn't the first time. We've done this back in I'm thinking out loud, 2015, 2016,
Okay.
maybe all the way through 2017. And, you know, the way we do it is first we start with stage 1 or stage 2, depending on the water conditions at the time. And these are local conditions. So we tell people, this is what you can do. This is what is encouraged. And by the way, you can conserve this much water if you only brush your teeth, for 2 minutes, or, whatever the requirement, whatever we find. So we promote all of this, and we engage the community. We let them know how much they're conserving and how much they are capable of conserving just by changing their habits a little bit.
Okay, so it's been done before.
Mhm.
That's okay.
Yes.
New to me. Okay. Is there any other questions? No, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Move Lemons.
Second, Aguayo.
A motion by Lemons and a second by Aguayo to read by title only and waive further reading, introduce ordinance number 1158, and place it on the next regular agenda for adoption. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo?
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cuevas Stallings?
Yes.
Mayor Olmos?
Yes. All right, my colleagues, I think we will go ahead and move on to comments and committee reports. We'll start with our council members. We'll start with, you want to go next? First, Vice Mayor? Yeah, go ahead. You're up.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, first, I would like to wish all our residents and staff and directors and employees Happy New Year, prosperous New Year, healthy New Year to all of you. And second, I attended the Women's Club toy drive in December. It was very successful. We had volunteers from our youth commissioners were volunteering, and I went back in the afternoon, and they were very pleased with them, and they asked them to come back and volunteer. And also, the kids were very happy. They said they were able to interact with the children that were getting the gifts, and parents were asking them, you know, what would you recommend, you know, whether it be a box game or a wallet. And the students were very helpful, and that's what I heard. I also would like to encourage our residents that right now is a very difficult time. Our numbers are going up. I know that quite a few of our residents have gotten vaccinated. Please consider getting vaccinated. If you haven't been vaccinated, please wash your hands, be very cautious of places that you go. I know that quite a few families were able to entertain their families, and I believe in my family, my three brothers, we decided to not interact with our families. We decided to do it in, you know, I have three brothers. The three brothers entertained their own family. I entertained my own family, just out of caution, so no one would end up having COVID. But we're all vaccinated, praise God. I'm very grateful to my brothers and their families, and cousins, some distant cousins that are vaccinated. But I hope and pray that all of you will consider that. It will help our numbers come down. We have the bus if you need to get tested for COVID. You know, there's some Paramount Unified School employees that are also being affected by this. Some of my colleagues that were my previous colleagues are getting COVID, and they were asking me, where can I get tested? And I recommended the buses. And I did go to, I had a couple phone calls, Mayor, during the holidays that numbers were going up, and they had long lines, so I took it upon myself. I took my husband along. Lakewood had extremely long lines. They started from the sheriff's station all the way past the post office into the commercial buildings. They also had another line behind their theaters that was a drive up, and that line was extremely long. I went to Bellflower. Bellflower at library parking lot was extremely long. It was all the way to the courthouse. And I came to our city, and you know, I was very grateful that there was probably maybe 10 or 12 residents trying to get a COVID test. So our wait wasn't as long. Maybe other days that I didn't go might have been a little bit longer, but I would like to, if you feel you have the symptoms, please get tested, and hopefully we can stop the spread of this virus and keep our families safe and our friends and our neighbors. But anyway, thank you for your time. Everybody have a beautiful night. Stay safe, stay healthy. We are Paramount.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Aguayo.
Okay, well, Happy New Year to everyone as well. You know, my prayer for this year is that, you know, your homes are filled with blessings upon blessings, and of course, good health. With that being said, I don't think we can stress enough how critical it is that we take care of ourselves so we can take care of our loved ones. And, you know, one of the things is taking advantage of the resources we have available here in our city. It's, you know, like Vice Mayor Cuellar Stallings mentioned, we have testing in our city, and same thing, I had friends telling me that, you know, they were shutting down some of the testing sites because the lines were just, I mean, they were just so long that it was starting to get dangerous. They were blocking traffic. They're in other cities. And here, you know, we're so blessed to have, you know, resources here for our residents. But, you know, again, you know, continue using the masks. I know we don't, you know, yes, they're uncomfortable at times, but if us wearing these masks are going to help our community, then, you know, we need to, all of us, do our part. Real quick, actually, going back to the water thing, I just remembered, it must have been in probably 2015 when the city did that, because my son was in first grade. And he used to get on our case because the girls, we would brush our teeth and the water would run. And he would go in there and turn it off. And he went to school, and I remember we had a parent conference, and he had let his teacher know. He asked her if, she was shutting the water off because we were in a drought. So it was in 2015. But yeah, so that's.
We did a good job.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Done. Executed.
There you go. Absolutely. So
That was before me here, but I will take the credit.
yeah, but and as usual, thank you to the staff for everything you guys do. I know, I don't get tired of thanking everybody on staff, because I'll thank somebody and they'll say, well, it's not me, it's my team, and one department can't function without the other, and it's great to be part of that. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Councilmember Aguayo. Councilmember Lemons.
Hey, thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to report that I attended a homeless subcommittee meeting with staff and the mayor, and we received updates on the progress of the homeless situation in our city, and we heard some terrific stories of some successes that are happening with those efforts, and large part due to our public safety department and the specific efforts of Steve Comparoulas, who continues to go out there, make constant contact, doesn't give up, and I've said all along, you have a fantastic job where you're able to change people's lives so specifically. So in that way, I kind of envy you. We also, did a lot of brainstorming about new strategies and reviewed current legislation and funding sources. So I just want you to know we have an ongoing committee that's meeting on this, some new things that we're going to be doing with the public, and it remains a paramount importance to us. I also want to wish everybody a Happy New Year, and I wanted to say how proud I am of our community and of our residents. I think that we truly showed who we are over this past year. As I said at the tree lighting, every resident helping every other resident, churches, service clubs, community overall. I just saw the most incredible acts of generosity and kindness and caring, and it just makes me so proud for the city that I live in, and eternally grateful to a staff that every single member of you, your creativity, your hard work, your caring, you made all the difference. You made us get through a really, really tough time because you're so dedicated and because you care so much. And I love it when I hear my fellow colleagues say the same thing, that I'm saying, because we all feel the same. We all see it. No matter what you might hear or see from anybody else, we know the challenges that you're up against. We know what you're faced with every day and how you have to come up with something new and a way to work around it and a way to keep people safe and a way to encourage the community and to meet the ever-growing needs because of the pandemic. So thank you for getting us through a really tough year. You've always been there. We know that you're always will be there. Very grateful.
That was my speech. No. But kudos, Peggy, you said everything right on, I think, like I said, during this time. And I'm just going to add, I think, because I do want to say thank you to LA County for supplying us with those home COVID tests. And then for our staff to turn around and make this distribution happen overnight. 1,500 kits that you guys did in the pouring rain. I drove out there. The staff was in raincoats, but they did not stop, and they were there from 9 to like 4:30. So again, Peggy, that's exactly what I mean. I mean, you said it, and I think we all appreciate you guys, but I just want to say that. I just thought that was amazing. And I do want to make one announcement that we did decide to postpone the Coffee with the Mayor that was going to be hosted on January 12th at Horchateria. So we will get that on social media, but we decided as a precaution, make safe. We want to make sure everybody is, staying home as much as possible, but we will postpone that. And I do want to point to the fact that, the reason why we do have those is, again, we know that sometimes people cannot make it to council meetings. And we host these to be very informal so that way people can come and talk to us one-on-one with some coffee and maybe a pan dulce. But again, we will get that date out to you when we reschedule. So with that, do we have any staff comments?
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. I do have a few. I echo your sentiment. Thank you very much to County Public Health for providing the 15 home testing kits. That was a big boost for us. And I appreciate all the kudos to the staff. They definitely deserve it. They're outstanding. So thank you for all that. The COVID situation, we're not immune to that among the employees. We currently have 27 employees that are out due to COVID. That represents about 8% of our employee population. We will continue to do our best to serve the community as best as we can, but there may be some delays in services, so I like to let the residents know and businesses know that there could be that delay in services. As of right now, I don't foresee having to close, knock on wood, any public counters at this time. However, there have been a couple of cities in the Gateway regions that have had to close because of the outbreak, most notably Whittier and Montebello. I have checked in with my fellow city managers in the immediate area, and none of them have had to close yet as well as we are. So we're just kind of monitoring things on a day-to-day basis. We're hoping that we've reached the peak. We don't know. It seems like it has. The daily count of employees that are getting infected has slowed down a bit, so that's good news. So hopefully we can weather this and continue to provide the very best service that we can to our businesses and residents. The COVID situation is also impacting our response to homelessness. A lot of the nonprofit groups that we team up with to address homelessness, they simply are not going to be able to come out right now. So we're trying to do what we can on our own. But it's a struggle, and the shelters are full, or they're not taking any more right now because of COVID, because of the outbreaks. But we'll continue to do our best in that regard. And lastly, I'd like to introduce to you our new finance director. She's in the audience tonight. Kim, why don't you go ahead and stand up? This is Ms. Kim Sao. Kim has over 25 years of experience in city government. She worked for the cities of Westminster, Norwalk, Carson, and most recently Southgate, where she served as the Deputy Director of Administrative Services, handling finance. She belongs to and serves as the treasurer for her local Kiwanis Club and belongs to a number of national finance groups. She's also won speech awards for the Toastmasters International Group. She's married with 3 kids and enjoys taking road trips and camping with her family. Kim, welcome. And that's it, Madam Mayor.
Well, welcome. We're happy and excited to have you here. All right, so with that, you guys, tonight we will actually be adjourning tonight's meeting in honor of Carmen Martinez, who passed away on New Year's Eve, just a little shy of her 91st birthday. Carmen was a longtime resident who loved our city. She moved here in 1959 and created a quiet legacy of service in our community through her children. Daughter, Diane Martinez, was on the city council for many years and is now a member of the Paramount Unified School District Board of Education. Her daughter, Annette Delgado, is currently a member of the city's Public Safety Commission. Carmen was a homemaker who, after her kids were in high school, worked for Paramount Unified as a teacher's assistant. She enjoyed gardening and growing her roses, USC football, and attended Our Lady of the Rosary Church. Her loss is very keenly felt, and our prayers are with her and her family. So again, prayers to all your family. Ms. Martinez, Diane Martinez, we're with you, and our thoughts are prayers, and we're here for you. So we will adjourn this meeting until January 18th of 2022 at 5 p.m. Next, we'll move on to our successor agency for the Paramount Redevelopment Agency. If I can go ahead and get a roll call of council members, please.
Councilmember Aguayo.
Here.
Councilmember Guillen. Councilmember Lemons.
Here.
Vice Mayor Quera Stallings.
Here.
Mayor Olmos.
I'm here. May I get a motion to excuse Councilmember Guillen, please?
Move Lemons. Second Aguayo.
I have a motion by Lemon, second by Aguayo. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo.
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Quera Stallings.
Yes.
Mayor Olmos.
Yes.
Yes. Can I get some do we have any public comments?
No, ma'am.
All right. Do I need to do a consent calendar, or that's already done?
Yes, you do,
please.
Madam Mayor.
Okay.
I'll move Lemons.
All right.
Second.
We have a motion by Lemons and a second by Aguayo. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo?
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cuera Stallings?
Yes.
Mayor Olmos?
Yes. Okay, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting till February 1st, 22 at 6 p.m. Thank you guys and Happy New Year, and we look forward to 2022.